24 hours ago, the Blues put their impressive record against the East on the line, but were blown away by the Hurricanes 3-1. But now it's back to the comforts of home and the Central Division, where they have yet to lose a game in regulation all year. Can the Blues take another bite out of the Predators? Find out next. And the Blues are back home at Scottrade, the first of 4 home games before the Olympic break. And tonight's top starting goaltenders, Brian Elliott. He is back in goal for the Blues, has lost his last 3, but on the year, he has been excellent at home, 7-1 at Scottrade. Carter Hutton goes for the Predators on fire as he has won 6 of his last 7 games. And Ryan Reeves is back in the lineup tonight after being a healthy scratch for the last couple of games.
You would expect that Ryan Reeves is going to be flying out there, getting going on his toes, in on the forecheck, keeping pucks in deep. Always an eye-opener when you miss a couple and then get right back into it.
Blues hockey brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. And for the Blues, it is Steen, Backes, and Stewart against Eric Nystrom, Mike Fisher, and Patrick Hornquist. And Stewart sails into the zone, drops it off. Intended for Shattenkirk, picked off. And the Predators, and Nystrom gets it out. And now in for Hornquist, and a long drive and a pad save by Elliott. And then Backes whips it high all the way down the ice, and he will take the icing call as Shea Weber goes back for Nashville.
Well, Chris Stewart didn't start the last game in Carolina last night on this top line with David Backes, but he did end up on that line. There's a big hit up here on the right side, and that's imperative for Chris Stewart and the big forwards to finish their check. He starts off there. He does get the puck, and it looked like he had a good situation offensively. Just made a drop pass that was not on the mark to Shattenkirk coming into the zone. And
now Shattenkirk fires it down the ice. And we'll get another icing call without Sobotka. Of course, he is the Blues' best face-off man, over 60%. The Blues will be really challenged in the circle tonight, Darren.
Well, there is no doubt about that. And we know that David Legwand and the Nashville Predators are one of the best in the league on the dot.
They are 3rd overall as a team at 53%. Legwand wins it. And a shot by Smith goes wide. And now taken by Steen. Comes around. Michael Del Zotto, the former Ranger, pinches in, but now the Blues fire it away. And back to get it is the 19-year-old Seth Jones, their first-round pick this year. For Del Zotto. And that's cut off by Oshie. On with Berglund and Payarvi. And the Blues get it deep. And Carter Hutton to play it. For Del Zotto, around for Gabriel Bourque. It was worked over by Oshie. And now it's center ice Pietrangelo. And he gets away from the boards to his partner, Bouwmeester.
That was a hockey deal that was good for both teams, wasn't it? Kevin Klein, the right-hand shot going to the New York Rangers. They needed a righty. And with Seth Jones' development and Shea Weber manning the right side, Nashville could afford to give up a righty like Klein and gained a real good young defenseman in Del Zotto.
Now Roman Polak in a shot, and that's close to the near goal post. As Hutton wasn't quite square to the shooter, and Roman almost got that one in on the short side.
And typical of a lot of young goaltenders, instead of staying square with the actual shot, your move is to the next play. But quite often there is no next play. There's this play. And that nearly went in on Hutton, who has been very good his last 7. He's 6-1 with a 2.4 against Evans.
And his first NHL game was last year with Chicago in the 48th game of the year against the Blues. As Polak keeps it in. Hutton sets it up back of the goal. Not dressed tonight for the Blues. Carlo Koliakovo and Jordan Leopold. Now Jaden Schwartz in front. And he went to make a pass. Intended for Tarasenko, broken up, and Polak on his horse back in his own line. And now Roman Polak away from Taylor Beck. Now Beck trying to center one. It goes to Schwartz. And he flips one onto center ice for Tarasenko. And off the boards and in.
And congratulations, number 21, Simon Moser, just recalled from Milwaukee of the American Hockey League, playing in his very first National Hockey League game.
He's from the same hometown in Switzerland as Roman Josi. That would be Bern, Switzerland.
It would be Bern, Switzerland. And Ryan Reeves and the Blues are trying to burn Nashville here in tonight's game. Back-to-back games. Our Toyota keys to the game. Get off to a strong start. Play with the lead. We know what the difference is with the Blues when they have the lead. And calmness with the puck. I think there were times last night in that 2-1-2 press-up game Carolina played that there wasn't enough composure in that transition game.
And off the face-off and a good backhand chance for Brendan Morrow and a save by Carter Hutton. Yeah, Hitch said this morning there was way too much chaos in last night's game. And speaking of chaos, Morrow and Clune having words.
Clune, the former LA King. He's a feisty competitor, and we know what Brendan Morrow is all about. Good backhander by Morrow off the face-off. This should be a real good line for the Blues. Lapierre, Ryan Reeves, and Brendan Morrow. Certainly Morrow was had a hat trick of sorts last night. Unfortunately, there were the 3 minor penalties in that game in Carolina.
A different version of a Gordie Howe hat trick. And now Reeves. Knocked away from him. Pietrangelo pitches in. Now Morrow, quick pass in front, but no one is there. And Paul Gaustad, the former Sabre, rolls one of the Blues line. And now grabbed by Lapierre. For Pietrangelo. Shots early on, 3-1 for the Blues. No score. As Morrow cruises in. Down low on Weber. And the puck comes around and walked along by Yossi. And that's tipped toward the goal. Elliott to play it. And now steered back of the goal by Shattenkirk. For Jackman. Again, he reverses. And then Shattenkirk ran to the referee down there. Rob Martell. Or rather, Tim Peel. Martell's the other referee back at center. And now the Predators have it. Here's Nystrom with it. Spins off the Shattenkirk check. And now Mike Fisher gets it free. The longtime senator for Nystrom. And he looks around. And a drop pass. As Seth Jones comes in, now in front. And that's cleaned up by Jackman. And he is under some enormous pressure there by Hornquist. And now for Reeves. Can't get it by Del Zotto. A shot by Hornquist blocked. And now Reeves again. Oh, he gave it away to Fisher. Wide open in front. And a shot by Nystrom didn't get through. Great pressure. Now Hornquist again. Fires it, and a save by Elliott, and it's off his glove and out of play.
This is where Barry Trotz's club is at their best right here. The cycle down low. It's a 3-man cycle. They will absolutely have their defensemen, like Seth Jones, will pinch in on the strong side. Here's the turnover because of incredible pressure right there by Nystrom. A turnover there by Reeves results in this good scoring chance again by Nystrom, who's played some great hockey for the Nashville Predators. But that is a handful to defend against in the defensive zone for the Blues.
Predators have gone 6-2-1 their last 9 games. See, the Blues a bit sloppy early on. And they've scored at least 4 goals in 6 of those 9. Now Gaustad down low. Worked over by Pietrangelo. And then floated to center ice by Stewart. And then worked in deep by Backes. He had the Blues' lone goal last night. And now Steen is canceled by Weber. Steen gets away. Leaves it for Stewart. Stewart trying to get to the front. And he does, and a shot. That was blocked at the defense, and Weber knocked Steen down away from the Predator goal, and now it's covered by Hutton.
Well, it's a good way to counter the kind of pressure that Steen's line mates were on just in that prior shift with the down-low cycle of Nashville. And from this situation, we'll stop it right here, and you can see how wide open. This area is going to be collapsing all night long. That weak side D is going to be wide open all game long. But Stewart does turn, does the right thing, because Steen's battling in front as well, hoping for some juicy rebound there off Carter Hutton's pad.
You know, Ken Hitchcock said that it's going to be whoever wins the battles on the cycle, and we're seeing that at both ends, guys. Whoever gets the job done on the cycle is probably going to score some goals and win the game.
Yeah, the 3-on-3 game down low, as he calls it, Bernie. And a couple of shifts ago, the Fisher line had a great 3-on-3 cycle.
Well, the Blues are really good on that cycle going to the weak side D, and the Nashville Predators are really good at keeping up with the strong side D, as we saw Seth Jones do earlier on.
Now it's Berglund in for Oshie. Good job by Jones to break it up. And now moved along to center ice by Moser. Again in his first NHL game for Simon Moser. And the puck comes in front, but that's on the tape of Payarby. Dealt ahead to Oshie. And he delays. Look for some help. And now off the stick of Berglund. And now recovered by Echo. And the puck back to center ice. And then Pietrangelo again. Drop pass to Berglund. He delays. And can't get a shot. Blues a little bit reluctant to shoot like they were last night in Carolina. And the puck played by Clune to center. Here's Pietrangelo, steps right back in there. And he rifles it around for Tarasenko. Now Schwartz in front. Oh, what a setup for Derek Roy, and a save by Hutton on a bang-bang play. And that was a glorious chance there for Derek Roy. No score.
Receive playoff ticket purchase priority at a discount on the game price. Tickets start as low as $30. For details on how to get a poster signed by Hawks and Olympians or a puck signed by one.
Well, very good start by Tarasenko and Derek Roy. Of course, they're missing their centerman. Roy had been shifted to the left side with Vladdy Sobotka. And obviously our best. Thinking about you, Vladdy. I know that it's got to be just a brutally brutal time for you. I mean, my goodness, with all the work you've done and trying to get to the Olympics and everything else that goes along with it. So we all feel for you in a big way.
Terrible time to have that type of injury. Here's Pietrangelo, a drive. And now it comes around for Tarasenko. His drop pass picked off by Craig Smith. And now Bolmeister. He'll chip one to center ice for Roy. And Derek Roy muscles into the zone. And again, he can't get very deep. And the Predators away, and Smith sends it back in behind the Blues goal.
It's an area last night in Carolina that the Blues were just reluctant to slide pucks behind the players of Carolina, behind their D. And once you get them chasing in Carolina anyway, the Blues had success. It's no different from any other team. You have to get that puck in deep and stop trying to make the little plays just inside the blue line.
Now a long pass ahead for Stewart. He waits, now fires it off a leg and wide. Comes in front. Steen was after the puck, but can't get it. And now Steen at the line, had it knocked away by number 4, Ryan Ellis. And this goes deep. Jackman there. He gets away from the forecheck of Nystrom.
Oh, what a pass that was by Jackman, right on the tape.
And now moved along by Backes. In front, Morrow to Backes, a shot. And off the body in front, and then cleared away by the Predators, but held in by Morrow. And the shots are now 6-1 for the Blues.
See how many times in this game the Blues are trying to funnel pucks to the feet of Carter Hutton. See if they can't get some sloppy, juicy rebounds with the pass-off pad.
And now we get a whistle, and a stick comes up a bit on Lapierre, I believe, from a Predator player.
Big Shea Weber, I think, is going off. The main guy on their penalty kill as well.
Nashville, number 6, 2 minutes, high sticking.
Far corner to the right in the battle. Here's the chance by Roy on a nifty little backhand pass by Schwartz. Schwartz got eyes in the back of his head with a pass like that. And here's the play. Jackman out of the zone, right on the tape to Stewart. And there's that sharp angle shot trying to get the rebound on Carter Hutton. Weber goes to the box. First power play of the game.
Blues were 1 for 4 last night. Here's a shot by Shattenkirk, blocked. On the year, the Blues 23.7%. That's second best. And the Preds on the kill at 80%. That is 21st out of 30 teams. Blues maneuver through center. Steen to the line to Shattenkirk. A high shot and a save there by Hutton. And now Backes controls it. He leads the Blues with 8 power play goals. Out high for Steen. Now for Roy. Little head fake move to Steen. Lets it fly, and that's wide. And a big carom in front, and that's taken care of by the Predators, and knocked down with a high stick by Roy, and now we'll bring the face-off back in the Blue zone.
Real good chance there by Alexander Steen. He's a real... Oh, there's the high stick right there. Clearly, great hand-eye coordination, though. My goodness. See the ability there of Derek Roy. But this shot here going high to the short side. It's a perfectly executed shot, and it just misses. Just misses the short side post.
And Backes there trying to wave that to try to kind of pull it in towards the net. So when you're shooting like Alexander Steen, keep shooting it. I keep telling him that, you know what, with a shot like that, it's going to go in. So
well, I like that left-hand shot on that side of the ice, coming back to the middle and then firing it short side high. And as long as your players in front know where it's going, Bernie, that's usually going to result in a pretty good scoring chance.
Yeah, they're looking for him too, Panger, which is really good. I mean, when you got a guy as hot as he is, give him the puck, let him shoot it.
And he's hot against Nashville. 4 goals in his last 3 games. Now it is Stewart back of the cage. Stewart in front. A shot by Schwartz. He scores! A power play goal for Schwartz.
Quick reaction time there. And another tremendous pass. This one, though, wasn't from Schwartz. This was from Chris Stewart. And Big Stewie gets behind the net and gains some time to the chagrin of Barry Trotz. There's the backhand pass. Shovel play by Tarasenko. Stewart stops on a dime, feeds it out there beautifully, puts it on a platter. Our Plaza Tire Service replay. Keep your eye on number 9. Stick on the ice in the quiet area. Not defended there or collapsed by the reliable Mike Fisher. And bang, right off the pipe and in on the far side.
That is Schwartz's 17th of the year, 3rd power play goal. And the Blues strike first at 9-11. And Roman Josi back to get it. And around for Moser. Josi at center ice. He'll backhand it deep. And now Josi. Very good young defenseman from Switzerland.
And that's that scoring the first goal of the game, though, so important. Now you play on your toes. You don't chase the game. The Blues are 19-2-5 when scoring the first goal. Well, the work down low was a result of Schwartz setting up Derek Roy earlier in the period at even strength. But here, Stewart is the one that spins and makes the play. But the battle, we stop it here. The battle's right here. And you can see the way Tarasenko just makes a nice little chip on the back end. Gets into the open spot. And there's Stewart waiting in the wings for that play.
Schwartz from Stewart and Tarasenko at 9-11. And now it's played by the rookie Ekholm, a 4th-round pick in 09. He is 23 years of age. That's the average age of this young Predator defense. And it goes back down the ice, and Ekholm has it again. Shots are now 8-1 for the Blues. Ekholm to center ice for Bourque. He'll toss it in. Bouwmeester for Morrow. And he tries to elevate this when he does. And it slides to center. Now it's Pietrangelo on the attack. And he waited a bit too long, and the play is offside. And then Reeves runs into Smith away from the puck. So we get a break. 9:28 to go in the first. Schwartz has the power play goal.
And we're back here at the Scott Trade Center. Blues lead 1-0. Well, Barry Trotz, the head coach of the Nashville Predators. He's the longest tenured head coach in the NHL. Also the 2nd longest tenured head coach in all 4 of the major professional sports, just behind Greg Popovich of the NBA San Antonio Spurs. And he's the only coach in the history of this Nashville organization. Same can be said for the general manager, David Poile, as these two have a great working relationship. You know, they've made the playoffs in 7 of their 15 seasons. And guys, as you know, you can never count out a Nashville Predators hockey club.
Yeah, Andy, good point. And you talk about stability. The same GM, the same coach for all 16 years of your existence.
74 games above 500 is pretty impressive, too. So they've done a marvelous job drafting. They've done a real good job, period. The way they, especially Panger, with the way they've done the job with their goaltending. Maybe one of the best jobs of all with their goaltenders.
Yeah, they've been consistent in that department. Mitch Korn, their longtime goaltending coach, has done an outstanding job of, you draft, you develop. And obviously they're missing Pekka Rinne, but they've done a good job of just staying afloat here.
Now, Pekka Rinne had hip surgery early in the year and developed an infection. And he's gone for a while and has been gone for a while. That is a huge loss as the Predators sit 5 points out of 8th place in the West. And you could argue, Darren, that with Rinne, they would certainly be a lot closer than 5 points to the 8th spot.
No question about it. I mean, you could talk about coaching, you can talk about systems, but you have to talk about goaltending. Goaltending can make up for many errors along the way and win many 2-1 and 3-2 hockey games.
And that's not to say Carter Hutton hasn't done a good job, but he's not Pekka Rinne.
And they've developed good coaches, too. His longtime assistant of 10 years, Peter Horchuk, got the head coaching job with the Florida Panthers right now.
And now the Blues come in. Tarasenko, he cruises by a couple of Predators. And then Del Zotto comes in, knocks him off the puck. But Tarasenko gets it back for Schwartz, who has scored the goal. Comes in front, and that's knocked wide. Now Roy to the line to Pollock. And Pollock a drive. That was off a body in front. And now Ian Cole activates, but the Predators get it here. They come to center ice, 2-on-1. Wilson, he works in. Wilson, the shot, and a blocker save by Brian Elliott. On that 2-on-1 led by Wilson. Schwartz back for the Blues. For Roy. And that's in front off his stick. And lobbed off the boards by Del Zotto.
Can't get caught with your head down or off guard with Nashville. That's a quick transition play by Del Zotto that leads to the break.
And now a shot off the crossbar by Colton Sissons in his third NHL game, a former second-round pick. Right off the crossbar. And now the Blues reload at their own line. 7:45 to go. First period. And then Pietrangelo goes for a tumble at center ice. Picked up by Oshie, back for Bouwmeester. And his pass up in the air, gloved down by Magnus Paajarvi. And then Berglund comes over. Predators have it, and now they work on to center ice. And then Craig Smith, who leads the club with 16 goals, sends it in. Langlois, a backhander. Elliott the same, can't smother it. Puck loose there. And it's still loose back of the goal. And now grabbed by Langlois. Langlois to the line to Jones. And then for Del Zotto. Seth Jones with it, a hard wrist shot. That goes wide. And then sent in front by Smith. And now Del Zotto again. Here's Jones for Del Zotto. He waits. And I think hit his own man, and then finally grabbed by Patrick Berglund and cleared away.
That's going to be a good tandem for a little while, huh? Del Zotto and Seth Jones. And my mistake, it was Seth Jones that made that outlet pass in his own zone. As they're trying to get that chemistry. Left-hand shot in Del Zotto, a real good skating defenseman. There's the outlet pass. So three forwards of the Blues get caught deep, and it's a quick play. Wilson, good shot to the blocker, and a good save. This is the one that went off the bar here. Just a quick little play by Colton Sissons, off the bar and out of play, over the glove.
And the Blues control the face-off, back for Shattenkirk. And now for Morrow. And he works his magic on Del Zotto. And then Fisher comes in to break it up. Fisher knocks it back of the goal, taken by Jones. Fourth overall pick this year. Blues keep it moving on the end wall. Now back of the goal, Morrow in front to Reeves. Now back to Jackman, a shot. And that was blocked on the way through. And then Reeves gets it again. Handed back to Jackman. And that was blocked by Gabriel Bourque. And it comes to center ice. Now Reeves steps in again. He is back after being a healthy scratch for 2 games. And Roman Josi to center ice. On the tape of Nystrom. Nystrom trying to cut to the middle. And lost it, but then following up, the puck is in on goal and covered by Brian Elliott. And we get a stoppage in play, and now Hornquist has words with Jackman. Not the first time that's happened. 1-0 Blues right here in the first period.
Another great crowd here at Scottrade Center. We're late in the first period. And when you look at the month of January, Alex Pietrangelo will head to his first Olympic Games alongside his partner, Jay Bouwmeester. 13 points in January. See Oshie, Tarasenko, and Backes with 10 on. Good month of January. Only 4 games left before the Olympic break ends.
And as a team, the Blues were 9-5 in the first month of the year as they drop it unfairly here.
Shea Weber on the other side of TJ Oshie was awfully good as well. 16 points in January.
And he leads the Predators in scoring. A shot off the back of the goal, now grabbed by Shattenkirk. And ahead for Backes. Nice pass, and now Backes wheels in. Low shot, kicked away by Hutton. And then Stewart follows up, along with the captain. It comes on the wall for Steen. And he can't grab it. He was tied up by Mike Fisher. Now Shattenkirk again for Backes. And got tied up there with his own man Stewart, and the play is offside. Well, join us in celebrating the 10 Blues players competing in the Olympics by purchasing a Sochi 10-game pack. Choose 10 games that fit your schedule and also receive playoff ticket purchase priority. Call us now at 622-BLUE.
Got a real battle going on between Fisher and Keener, guys. This is going to be interesting because this is becoming a vicious battle between the two of them. So we'll have to keep our eye on that the whole game.
As Colin Wilson tips it deep, Ian Cole trying to take cover back of the goal. Two Predators around him. Now it comes free for Moser in front. And a save again by Elliott, who's looked sharp early on.
He has looked sharp, but the pressure of the first forechecker of Nashville is giving the Blues a little bit of fits. It has not been a neutral zone game. It's been at either end, but there Ian Cole has it behind that, has time to make a play, gets pressure on him, has to spin and turn, and it ends up being a shot on goal from Nashville.
And they can apply that pressure, Darren, as you know, because they are a very fast team.
Yeah, and that was the youngster Simon Moser, number 21, that got in on the hunt.
Now the puck to center ice, grabbed by Cole. Slides it ahead for Berglund. And he waited too long. Oshie offside with 4:54 left in the opening period.
I think the last guy to wear number 21 for Nashville, was it Peter Forsberg maybe? Now it's Simon Moser. And interesting, too, you mentioned that he's from the same hometown as Roman Josi from Bern, Switzerland, but they were also both part of a silver medal in the World Championships last year. The Swiss haven't won a medal since, I think, the 30s in the World Championships. So it's quite an accomplishment, and now they'll play together in the Olympic Games.
And 2 years ago, Moser tore his ACL at the World Championships. As this is lobbed in on goal, Elliott makes that save. Shots are now 9-4 for the Blues. The lead 1-0.
New mask there by Brian Elliott as Derek Roy hops back onto the ice. I mentioned Brian Elliott had his mask, got all crushed. There was a little equipment accident, and it got schmucked. And Brian Elliott sent a tweet out with his warped mask, and he finally got his new one in there. So the boys did a good job of
looking sharp. Yeah. Predators win the faceoff now for Del Zotto. And a backhander by Bork. And a save by Elliott. And now Tarasenko on the wall. And ahead for Lapierre. Off the window and out. And here's Schwartz. Stops to make a play. Sends it back to the goal for Tarasenko. And he was upended in there. As Bork gives him a rough ride. Now Schwartz again. And then Tarasenko leaves it. And Seth Jones, the son, of course, of former NBA player Popeye Jones, to Del Zotto. And that's tipped by Legwand all the way down the ice. Both clubs making changes here. 4 minutes left, first period. Now Bouwmeester. Payarby gets a piece of that. And Hutton plays it high on the glass. And a good job by the goaltender to get the puck out. And now moved along by Josi. Here's Roman Josi, a drive, and that was blocked maybe by Pollock. And then another shot by Weber. Loose in front. Boone took a shot, and that was blocked as well. Here are the Blues back to center. Now Berglund steps in. Backdoor feed. Just wide, it came in front.
Good job by Ian Cole. Yeah, he really moved up the ice as the weak side defenseman.
He had a wide open net. I'm not sure if ever got in a stick, though. Bernie, did his skating go wide?
You know what, I couldn't tell from my angle, John. There was too many people in my way here, so I don't know what exactly happened, but it certainly looked like it was a pretty good scoring chance.
Looked like it might have gone off his left boot.
And now Lapierre. That's punched away by Del Zotto. Moved along by Hornquist. And his shot blocker to the corner by Elliott. And now Morrow. He can't find it. Eric Nystrom. He had a 4-goal game a couple of weeks ago in Calgary. But his club lost 5-4 in overtime. He had all 4. Hornquist now on the line to Jones. And Seth Jones shot wide. And then Del Zotto funnels one back to the goal again. Here is Fisher. Looks in front. What a save by Elliott! On Hornquist.
What a pass by Mike Fisher. Just an outstanding pass. We've seen that every time the Blues face off against Nashville. Fisher gets below or in the high slot, and he creates most of the scoring chances for Nashville. This is a beauty right here. Maybe the Blues are puck watching a little bit. Maybe they are. and I don't think Elliott actually sees it, but he's down below anyway. And not only does Elliott do a great job of stopping it, but how about that rebound control right there?
Just a brilliant pass by Fisher.
And goaltenders are too good to score down low, Panger. You got to get that up. Boy, what a great save there. Good positioning.
Now it's Alexander Steen, a drive and a save there by Carter Hutton. Steen has a pretty good chance.
We will not have to flood the ice between the blue lines for tonight.
No.
It's just one end or the other, and that makes it for some fun hockey. Fun hockey for sure. Both teams trying to do the same thing, get pucks in deep and establish their cycle game, as Ken Hitchcock said before the game. Here, off the wall to Steen, quick shot, no rebound.
Now Backus wins it. Steen to Bouwmeester, that shot off the stick of Hutton. And it comes ahead for Bourque. He was checked at center ice by Stewart, and then back for Bouwmeester. Blues won their opening game this year against the Predators 4-2, and then won down in Nashville 6-1 on October 26th. As Josi winds it around the boards, Bouwmeester, and he shoots it the other way, but no icing. They ruled the Predators could have played that.
Yeah, because they were making a line change, and the player had to hop right off, because otherwise he touched it, it's going to be too many men on the ice, and because he does that, they nullify the icing. Good call.
Now a good step up by Jackman. Moved into Roy. Here's Roy looking in front. Now for Tarasenko. And a spin off the check, right past the Shattenkirk. He works in a drive, and an arm save by Hutton. Roy had the rebound, couldn't get it back on goal. And now it's Roy again. What a pass by Tarasenko. He can really see that ice. Shattenkirk going to pinch in. He's bumped by Colin Wilson. And now it comes free for Roy. Nice move down low in front. A shot by Tarasenko and a save by Hutton. And a penalty called against the Predators.
This line is hopping. And they're missing their good buddy and one of the most valuable components of the St. Louis Blues in Vladdy Sobotka. But boy, oh boy. This line has been very, very good. Derek Roy makes a powerful move going to his right, and then he cuts back to his left, protecting the puck, and gets it to Tarasenko. Here's the cut in, back to the backhand. Nifty little pass, and a good play by Tarasenko. Blocker save again by Carter Hutton. And the Blues are trying to go up there on that stick side on Hutton. He leaves some rebounds, but he's made some good saves. That's a very, very good effort by those three players.
And that is Ekholm in the box. The Blues are 1 for 1 on the power play. And now 5 for 10 in 3 games against Nashville. Blues win the faceoff, back for Pietrangelo. Little chip pass for Steen. Steen a drive, and a save by Hutton, couldn't control it. And now fired high over the head of Steen and down the ice.
Well documented how quickly the Blues, when they win a face-off off the power play, get it back to the point, and it's inside 10 seconds. There's a shot, and again, that happened there. And a good scoring chance. It really gets the defending team, like, unorganized. It causes chaos, and that's what the Blues want.
Now Shattenkirk ahead, Steen on this power play. 35 seconds gone. That comes around for Pietrangelo. And he battles in the corner with Josi. And the puck ahead. Shattenkirk can't knock it down. And he has to chase back in his own zone.
Might have had time to release that one hand off the stick and keep it in with the glove, maybe.
Now a drive by Bourque. That's blocked in front.
Hard to tell from up here.
And it's a lot easier up here to second guess.
Especially with their hand-eye coordination that they have. They always feel that they can bat it out of midair.
Now Shattenkirk trying to funnel the puck in front for Backus, side of the goal. And where is it? It's covered by the goaltender Hutton. And a stoppage with 2.2 seconds left in the period.
Well, Hutton's done a good job of keeping his pad sealed to the short side as the Blues try to jam. Here's that face-off win. Shattenkirk jumps in there quickly. One little play by Pietrangelo, Saucer, and right over there to Steen. Shot on goal. Looking for the rebound, but it just eludes David Backus. Just got out of the way as the Blues will pull Elliott. 2.2 seconds remaining, and they will have a chance to maybe get a chance. Shot on goal.
And the puck is just covered by Gostad, their top face-off man. Over 58% on the year, and that's the end of the period.
Both teammates from Buffalo, Gostad and Derek Roy, give each other a pat on the shin pads after that play. Good period.
And the lone goal, Jaden Schwartz, his first goal in 7 games, 17th of the year. Pat Paris has the Blues up by 1.
Good to see, JK. Thank you very much. We're at the Bud Light Zone. Coming up, of course, it'll be the St. Paul GM Country Intermission Report. We'll have a feature on Black History Month. Also, Bernie Federko will join me to break down this first 20 minutes of play, and we'll tell you what's on tap for the Blues in this kind of condensed schedule before they hit the Olympic break. Right now, though, we want to remind you the Blues with a 1-0 lead after 20 minutes of play, thanks to the Jaden Schwartz goal. And the Blues with the better of the play, out shooting the Nashville Predators 14-8. Stay with us. More to come right after this.
Schwartz has the only goal, and the Blues with a 1-0 lead over the Predators as these clubs get together for the third time this year. John and Darren back in the broadcast booth. Tarasenko, we talk a lot about his shot, but Darren, he is such a well-rounded player.
There is no doubt. I think last year coming in, there was a little bit of naivety coming from the KHL bigger rink, much more physical in the National Hockey League, and now that's not the case. He is prepared for anything that might happen. So when he goes into a corner, it's not like there's a surprise coming in there. But this play here around the boards leads to a real good setup. Now, obviously, Schwartz makes the pass, but the first play was Tarasenko. Here again, hovering around. And there's Tarasenko sniffing around. Oh, little chip play beyond the defenseman. Now, the defenseman's a little out of position. Stewart makes a great pass. You see Tarasenko got drilled into the boards there by Del Zotto. Here he cuts back against the grain. Good pass, weak side D. He understands the system, where guys are, and then he gets a great scoring chance at the very end off a brilliant play from Derek Roy here. But he keeps moving his skates, fighting off the check, ends up creating a minor penalty against the Nashville Predators. But all in all, a very good period for Vladimir Tarasenko, who, along with his line mates last night, didn't have their best game. They weren't that sharp last night, and it ends up, Sobotka ends up getting injured in the game late.
Blues Hockey is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Blues on the power play to begin the second period as Backes sends it back for Shattenkirk. To Oshie. Almost lost it to Nystrom. And now Nystrom does steal it, and in a foot race with Steen, but Alexander Steen gets there ahead of Nystrom, the son of former NHLer Bobby Nystrom. Long pass too far for Oshie. He did tip it, so there is no icing. And then Hutton puts it on the glass, bounces back to the line in the area of Kevin Shattenkirk. But now the Predators break it up, and here comes Fisher away. 3-on-3 to Weber. Weber a shot, and that's taken in the midsection by Elliott.
Tell that Weber, who's got such a hard shot, that he just didn't want that tipped. We're at the tail end of killing a power play against, but he just lets a little wrister there. What a nice heel-to-toe saucer pass from Mike Fisher. He's so good in his own zone, and Fisher gets up the ice and makes that play. And you can see this season, 15 goals is first amongst defensemen. Game-winning goals, 9. That's tied for 4th, and points in January, 16. That's a great way to get set up for the Olympics in Sochi.
And he'll be an alternate captain for the Canadian team.
It's quite an accomplishment there as well.
But the Blues have done a good job with him in the career. I mean, he only has 4 goals in 48 games.
Now the Blues, an odd man rush led by Tarasenko. With Schwartz. Tarasenko with a move in front. Knocked out. Oh, shot just missed. He was on his stomach, and a penalty call. And now back to Pietrangelo for Berglund. Blues get the extra man on. Steen hops on the ice. And now Steen for Tarasenko. And he waits to Pietrangelo. A drive and a save there on the short side by Hutton. And now the Predators touch it. And Tarasenko has drawn another minor.
His cutback ability is incredible. And here you see defending the play. A fanned-on shot leads Tarasenko. The left-hand shot down the right side. He's so good at this, cutting back. Not only does he go down, but he regains control. Keep your eye on as he's falling. He gets up, gets control, nearly missed, nearly beats him on the glove side. In fact, that looked like he might have even glanced off the bar. What a great individual effort.
And the Blues right back on the power play. 1 for 2 for the night.
2 minutes for Trivay. Definitely 1:24.
As Steen goes back to get it. Out high with Shattenkirk. Up front it is Tarasenko, Stewart, and Schwartz. Steen now for Shattenkirk. He'll slow it down. Steen on the half wall. Stewart's in front. Schwartz out high again. Now to Shattenkirk. Couldn't get a shot away. Down low for Tarasenko. Tarasenko for Shattenkirk. He goes back to the Russian. Tarasenko goes across the ice to Steen. A shot tipped just wide by Schwartz. Good setup there. And now Jaden Schwartz in front. Steen a drive and an arm save by Hutton. Another great setup. And the puck down low. Schwartz knocks it away to Tarasenko. At the line, Shattenkirk. And then Steen tried a one-touch of pass. That was read well and blocked by Nystrom. And the Predators get it down the ice.
He just needed a little bit more loft on that wedge there, huh, Bernie?
Yeah, he was trying
a little chipper.
Yeah, it's hard to make that little chip there. So good defensive play, though.
And Oshie can't handle the pass. The Predators dump it in. 45 to go in the power play. Elliott almost lost that one to Taylor Beck.
He just toe-dragged Taylor Beck.
Yes, he did. And now Oshie trying to toe-drag Beck again, but he can't. And the Blues have to regroup at their own line.
You know what Hitch is going to say, Bernie? Too much dangles going on out there.
Now they dump it in. They heard you.
Dingle dangles.
You know what? I've got an extra 4 minutes, though. It's a 10-minute break, so maybe something good will happen before then.
And maybe Hitch will calm down by then.
Yes.
And now Bouwmeester hooks it back behind the goal for Pietrangelo. With 10 to go in the Jones minor penalty. And now Derek Roy. He's played a strong game. Roy into Backus. Backus sets it up. Tipped, but kept in by Pietrangelo. Now for Roy. Jones is back. The Blues had 2 power play shots. Bouwmeester. He scores! Oh, rocket. It might have been tipped in.
Yeah, Backus definitely tipped it, John. Right into the far corner. What a deflection.
Well, with all the dangling going on, this was as simple as it gets. Get the puck and feed it over to the far side, almost dot to dot. Derek Roy does a really nice job of settling things down. And keep your eye on Backus as he gets himself in front of that. He was at the blue line, skates in a straight line, goes to the front, and a perfect redirection. You can see he goes to his backhand on the redirect, and it causes the puck to go across the grain, blocker side. No chance for the goaltender, Carter Hutton.
So Backus had his first goal in 11 games last night, gets another one. As now Smith comes in for Nashville. And the Blues take a 2-0 lead on the goal at 3:31. As Roman Polak pounds it around the boards. It is the 19th of the year for Backus. He is 1 goal shy of 20 for the 4th time in his career. As Payarvi works the wall. Along with Berglund, now back for Cole. And that comes in front. Roy gets the secondary assist on the goal by Backus. And the puck rolls back down the ice. And corralled by Cole. Tipped along by Payarvi. And now Hutton puts it on the glass. He can handle the puck quite well. The Blues almost had too many men there, and they might get called as Payarvi or Morrow were over there. I think it hit Payarvi's skate.
As Payarvi was stopping because the door wasn't open, he stopped. His skates are still on the ice.
Penalty, minor penalty for too many men on the ice.
And the puck comes around and just hits him in the skate, unbeknownst to him. And at that same time, Brendan Morrow hopped on the ice. And so that's the situation here in that particular play. Now as we stop it here, we're going to show you. Stop it here if we can. Now the skate hits there. Then you got there, and there. That's a lot of theirs right there.
7 times.
Not counting the goalie. Nashville on the power play for the first time. Their power play ranks 6th at 20.6%. It's smashed down by Pietrangelo. The Blues on the year are 5th on the kill at 84.7%. And they have killed all 7 Nashville power plays in 2 games. And this is Shea Weber. He leads the club with 9 power play goals. Weber's got a bomb, and he broke his stick. And the Blues get a break there on the broken stick, and Schwartz now to center for Pietrangelo. And the Blues kill some time, and now Shea Weber is replaced by Jones as Hornquist walks in. And that's probably a pass for Leguan back of the goal. Now it comes around and recovered by Josi for Fisher. And he worms away from Berglund. On the half boards, Leguan back to Josi. Here's Jones, a drive and a stick save. It pops high in the air. Where is it? Back of the goal to Jackman. And now Fisher has it again. That's tipped by Oshie. And at the line, good keep in there by the Predators and Mike Fisher. And then Josi dangles out high to Legua. Tip to the line to Josi. Now for Jones off his skate. And it's kicked ahead to Oshie. And the Blues kill some time. 25 to go in the power play. And then Oshie is caught from behind by Seth Jones.
And with Seth Jones' development and his shot and his good hockey sense, they can have one unit with Seth Jones on there with Roman Josi, and then the next unit, you've got the big, powerful bomb from Shea Weber. Tough to defend against.
Boy, pretty poised for 19 years old, huh?
Is he ever?
And now Steen breaks it up at the line. And the Blues have killed it off. Steen comes in. No shots against on that power play. So a solid kill by the Blues who lead 2-0. Goals from Schwartz and Backus. Here's Bolmeister. And now it comes around to Backus. He feeds Pietrangelo, but it bounced on him to center and then brought back in offside. So the captain is on the board for the second consecutive game. A great tip-in goal to make it 2-0 for the good guys.
2005. Since joining the Marines, he has become a decorated soldier, including receiving the Navy and Marine Achievement Medal. He currently serves with the 3rd Battalion, 23rd Marines in St. Louis as a radio communications platoon sergeant. Thank you, Staff Sergeant Richard Eder Jr., for protecting and serving our country.
Richard Eder Jr., our serviceman of the night here at Scottrade.
Always a great moment for sure, and wearing big Tony Twist sweater out there too. Big number 18 on his back. That's good stuff right there.
By the way, a happy birthday tonight to Abby Finnegan, who is in attendance. Abby is 7 years old and a huge Blues fan.
7 years old. Happy birthday, Abby. Same with Debbie Kraft, her 60th birthday. Debbie, a huge Blues fan. Happy birthday, Debbie Kraft.
As Lapierre is tossed, so Morrow will take it. And the draw is won by the rookie Sissons. And now walk to center ice by Sissons. He waits, now a shot. And a glove save by Elliott. Sissons, the 8th rookie to play for the Predators this year. And now we get some extracurricular activity after the whistle.
Yeah, Clune
and Reeves, I believe.
First it started with Brendan Morrow, and Reeves comes in here and wants to separate Clune from Reeves and making sure he's right there. No need to have the veteran Brendan Morrow drop the mitts. At this point, 1-0 game. I'm sure something will develop as we go on. This is one-on-one with Sissons, and you see that Ian Cole takes out Sissons, and then on the left side, Clune's going to drive hard at the net, but the play's already dead. Goalie's got it. Whistle's blown, but Clune's just trying to stir things up, and he continues it on from the bench.
Bernie, has Clune been chirping all night?
You know, a little bit off and on. He's been chirping with Chris Stewart a little bit, but not an awful lot. I mean, that's what his job is, and you know what? The Blues doing a good job with the WWF. Tag team, why not?
Well, Weber just missed off that face-off win. And now the puck to the corner for Roy. On for Tarasenko. This line's been great tonight for the Blues. Roy, Tarasenko, and Schwartz. And that's tipped in by Schwartz. Roy trying to hunt it down. Roman Josi back defending. Now Roy gets it away. Oh, in front for Tarasenko, just off the mark. And now the Predators to center ice. As they move in, Wilson a shot. And Colin Wilson shot high. He had an odd man rush in the first period. Now back to the goal. Back with it. To the front. No one is home. And Tarasenko with a couple of Predators back. Now the Blues get some help. Tarasenko for Roy. What a pass. Back in front. Oh, Schwartz hit the crossbar. And then Tarasenko couldn't knock it down.
These guys got some magic going on here.
And now the Preds come back in. A shot by Moser blocked. And the Blues again with numbers to center ice. As Berglund comes in for Oshie. In front for Schwartz. And that was blocked by a stick. And a good defensive play, and then a hit by Jackman up the ice. As he ran right over Patrick Hornquist. And now Payarvi comes in. To Berglund, a drive. And that was blocked. And that stung. Hornquist blocked that shot right on the leg.
Tough shift for Hornquist.
Yeah, run over by Jackman.
Yeah. And then blocks that. That was a wicked one there by Berglund.
And now Berglund comes in. to that Predator zone again for Payarby. Hitchcock has really liked his game of late. And now the pass to center for Eric Nystrom, who was signed as a free agent this year. And now Nystrom spins in the corner. But he can't get the puck in front. And then Stewart near the line, not out. Weber, look out. He's got the bomb and he shot just wide. Trying to pick that blocker side. Now the Predators have it. Smith down low. And a great diving play by Shattenkirk to drop down and knock that pass down. And then Smith again comes in, and he waited too long, putting Laiguan in offside.
Well, there's no question that the best line on the ice in this hockey game has been Schwartz, Derek Roy, and Tarasenko. Nifty little pass, backhand redirection. Schwartz off the bar here, and then the rebound comes up high, and Tarasenko nearly swats it out of midair.
I didn't realize that Hutton got his glove on it first before it hit the bar. It looked like he got a piece of it.
Glanced off the cheater, it looked like.
Yeah, that was an impressive save. I didn't realize it. I thought it just went straight off the bar, but what a save by Hutton.
And Laiguan is tossed, so Smith steps in. Laiguan, Smith, and Bourque up front. And the Preds are offside.
Yep, Smith's left skate was raised, so his right skate was in the zone, and his left one, if it stays on the ice, he's okay. But he lifts it up, and that clearly makes it an offside play.
You know, Hitch was concerned about the start tonight. The Blues have not been good in the first periods on the second night of a back-to-back. But they were really good in the first period and have continued here in the second. As Stewart gets to a puck. Smith now for Nashville to center ice. Back is there trying to break it up. Smith a shot, that's wide by a couple of feet, comes around to Stewart, and his pass on the tape of Backes, and that gets deep. Hutton can't block it. Steen comes in. Steen to the blue line. Good holding by Pietrangelo on a Backes. Back to Pietrangelo. He works in a shot, and that's wide on the short side. And then Bouwmeester for Pietrangelo. He blew an edge, but it's picked up by Steen. Then Steen funnels it in front. Good block by the left skate of Laiguan. And sends Smith on his way to center. That's dumped in, a glove saved by Elliott. And then picked up by Pietrangelo with 9:45 to go in the second period. Blues out shooting the Predators, 17-10, leading 2-0. And Hutton blocks it now for Del Zotto. And the longtime Ranger now to center ice for Clune, shouldered by Morrow. And then Clune gave him a bit of a cross check. Here's a shot by Jones. That was blocked out high. And now Gosted trying to wheel that puck to the front. And then Clune comes over again. Ends up on the right point for Jones. Quickly across. And then a great stick by Reeves to knock it off the stick of Del Zotto. And the Preds have to reload at their own line. Now it's Jones again. Up the middle and a shot. And boy, can he shoot it. That was wide. I don't think Elliott got a piece of that.
That's a good play right there. Tough play for a goalie to read it coming off the stick with a little bit of a screen there.
And now a pass in front for Clune. Blocked by the Blues, Ian Cole. Taken by Pollock off the glass and out. And a spinning puck taken by Del Zotto. And that's played down the ice, no icing. And Ian Cole, look out. Little sachet move away from Beck. And now reverses ahead for Schwartz. And he can't get it by Ellis at the line. And now Derek Roy in front. He did a good job to get the puck to center ice.
Long shift here for Ian Cole and Roman Pollock, too.
Yeah, they're trapped out there.
The forwards got to change, but obviously in that second period, it's a tough one. Making that change, getting out the ice. Now they'll be able to get off the ice here.
Yeah, good pass by Cole for Roy. He doesn't get it deep. And now the puck is back in there, delayed offside, and at least Pollock could go off. And now the Preds with it, and that's dumped in by Laiguan. Grabbed by Roy off the boards at the line. And now it's Jackman for Cole. Jones pinches in. And then four players battle for the puck to the left of Elliott. And there's a high hoister by Schwartz. Knocked down by Tarasenko back in the zone. That wasn't probably what he had in mind. And now the puck at center. Ian Cole cannot get off the ice here.
Yeah,
this has been about a 2.5 minute shift.
It is. This is he won't be able to recover for the next one. And I'm sure Brad Shaw, who runs the D, is saying, let's get him off the ice here. And finally, Ian Cole's able to get off the ice.
And now it's Jones.
And Bradshaw didn't say a word, Banger.
He had no chances. The turnover by Derek Roy at the blue line was the one that cost the defenseman Ian Cole to get off the ice. And that's where it becomes tough. That's when you have to, I think, understand, or people have to communicate on the bench. You got to get it deep, because, you know, from up here, we're watching Ian Cole, and it's a laboring sword after a while. At one point, when Jackman came on, then the right thing to do is get to the right side, even though he's a lefty, so he's closer to the bench for a change, and they still couldn't get him off.
Good to see Brad Shaw back on the bench. He had a battle with the flu.
The last home game.
Yeah. And earlier in New York a few weeks ago, Ray Bennett took a puck in practice on the head and was cut for about 7 stitches. So the Blues coaching staff has had a tough go of late. And a pass fanned on there. And now moved along by Payarvi. He gets it by Ellis. And then Berglund follows up. Almost got his arm in there. Now Berglund gets the puck with his club leading 2-0. For Pietrangelo. And then for Stewart. And he's chased in line. Back to the corner. It goes to Berglund. Now Berglund a shot. And that hit a Predator in front, I believe, off the rookie Ekholm.
I think so, too. But that's what the Blues have to do, though. I mean, I think the Nashville Predators are doing a good job of taking away the points.
And a drive by Payarvi on goal. And then Payarvi is worked over in front by Ellis.
Following through on the shot, looking for the rebound off Carter Hutton. Didn't get it. Hutton did a good job.
A little concerned about the energy level with playing back-to-back. Have you been okay with the energy the guys have had so far?
Yeah, I think you see it more in the puck play. Both teams are struggling under some pretty heavy forecheck and pressure, so it's too bad on these odd man rushes we didn't get that third goal. It would have given us a little bit more breathing room, but we just got to keep managing the puck properly and not get ourselves hemmed in, because both teams are, once they get hemmed in, it's trouble with the energy right now.
Thanks, Hitch.
As the Blues continue to lead 2-0. Goals from Schwartz and Backes. Schwartz in the power play in the first, and Backes at 3:31 of the second. And here is Backes. Drops it off for Stewart. Fakes it. Now on to Steen. And then Steen out high. Funnels one to the net. That's blocked. Now Steen gets it again. And he continues his battle with Mike Fisher. And the puck jammed to center ice by Hornquist. And Backes turning. That pass off a stick to the corner. And he goes after it, gives Fisher a high shot. And the Predators avoid the forecheck, and here they come to center. Weber tips it on to Hornquist. Weber to the net. Hornquist with it, a drive, and a save by Elliott. And a good one.
I thought for sure that Hornquist was going to play that puck over to Mike Fisher. Mike Fisher is all alone on the left side. And we keep our eye on the way this develops. We stop it here. And look at this play right here. Bang. He's wide open. A right-hand shot. Waiting for it. Doesn't get the puck, and it ends up, Hornquist ends up taking just a little wrist shot, and that's an easy save. Brian Elliott will take that any day of the week, but when you have to move east-west, push off with your left, get over to the far side, that's when it's difficult.
You know, Pang, I was surprised that Fisher didn't move over towards the middle of the ice a little more, though. He stayed way over on the left side of the ice, which I don't know if Hornquist didn't spot him, but if he moves into, with the center ice drive, he was in a good spot.
Oh, what a play by Oshie. He just picked the pocket of Jones down low and went to the net. That was a heck of a forecheck by T.J. Oshie.
Yeah, and he had Berglund driving hard through the middle, so if there's any rebound there, the big Swede would be right on the doorstep.
As Payarvi spins it in, Jones back to get it, under 5 to play in the second period. Now it's Colin Wilson to center ice. Here he comes, their first-round pick in 08. Wilson to the front, off a skate. And at the line, Ryan Ellis a shot. Tipped off a blue stick and now recovered by Tarasenko. And it'll feed it back to Shattenkirk. There's a stick laid on the ice in the blue zone. They get by the stick and the Predators, and here they come. Led by Schwartz. And Schwartz does a 360. Now Pietrangelo to Bouwmeester. He walks in and a shot and a pad save by Hutton. And the puck loose in front, grabbed by the Predators. And Ekholm to center ice for Smith. Delays, now a shot, blocked by Pietrangelo. And the Blues Again, they break it up. It was at 25 blocks last night. In Carolina, that was a team high for the year.
Yeah, a lot of it, though, had to do with mismanaging the puck. A lot of that stat, you give him an A+ for the effort on the shot block, especially Roman Polak, who was the leader again. But let's face it, a lot of it was just because of some poor puck management. You end up on your heels and having to block shots.
Well, there's the good side and the bad side. When you're blocking shots, you're in your own zone.
And a lot of those blocks from Roman Polak were really a result of just some bad plays, which end up being costly.
Oh, look out here. It comes in front. Elliott couldn't grab it. The Blues almost put it over the glass. That would have been delay of game.
This next one's an important one in this game. 2-1 changes everything. 3-0. Maybe Nashville heads the other way. Goes home.
Look out. Gaustad, he scores! On a turnaround and a giveaway, and Gaustad buries it, and it's 2-1.
They're not going home. Gaustad parks himself right on the doorstep, but not 3 feet outside the blue paint. Left-hand shot, takes that little pass, goes low to the stick side. Elliott's looking over his right shoulder, pushing back to the middle, and can't go against the grain. As this turnover is costly here, it looks like the Blues are in really good position right there. And then the pass from the corner, right on the tape to Gaustad. Not much Bouwmeester can do right there. He's not expecting that puck to move from the corner where the Blues have it to the middle of the ice like that.
Yeah, I think the Blues player moved that in front. Was that Ian Cole? We'll have to check, but that was not what the Blues wanted to do there.
It might have been Steen too, John. I couldn't tell there either. I mean, I don't know how that puck ended up in front of the net. I mean, it looked like the Blues player passed it to him.
I think he did, Bernie. As Shattenkirk has it, can't clear it. A shot by Hornquist. And now a drive by Nystrom blocked. And Steen on his horse to center ice. So Gaustad gets the goal. His 8th of the year, first in 12 games.
Unassisted goal at 16.
And I believe it was Cole that passed that puck in front.
Yeah, Morrow was right there on the doorstep looking to support it, but the left-handed shot, Cole's stick is right there, and he just kind of jams it right to the middle, obviously thinking that Bouwmeester's there for an outlet.
And now Stewart comes in, and a backhander is in the pads of Hutton. And we get a whistle. The goal by Gaustad is unassisted, and it's 2-1.
A lot of times the outlet for the defenseman is either the centerman down low in front of your net now, or your defenseman might be in that area. But we're going to show you Brendan Morrow is going to come here wanting the puck. Bouwmeester is going to go there wanting the puck, and look what happens. Morrow doesn't get it. Cole thinks that Bouwmeester's there. Bouwmeester thinks it's going behind the net, and the only guy there is Paul Gaustad. It gets free candy right in front of the twine.
And the goal is unassisted. That's 16:48. The Blues win the faceoff. Cole with it. For Oshie. In front of Berglund. Right pad save there by Hutton. And a good one. And held in by Cole. Tipped by Berglund. And that was below his shoulder, so play continues. Now Berglund trying to fight off Jones. Berglund still with it. Hooks one in the corner for Payarvi. And he gets free. Now Payarvi in front. Sticked away by the goaltender. Now Cole a drive. Tipped toward the goal. And an easy one there for Carter Hutton, who melts it down.
Well, this is where the work boots get on now. This catches everybody's attention now as Beck and Cole go at one another. This one goes off the fat shaft of the stick there of Carter Hutton and then lies out there in front. Deep in the net like that. Not the biggest goaltender. The areas to beat him are up over the shoulders. The Blues have got to start digging away from those rebounds too. The Blues are one of the best teams in the league at firing that pass-off pad from the sharp angles right around the hash marks. It's become maybe the most dangerous secondary scoring chance in the NHL the last half dozen years. You got to stay with it, but you have to have someone drive into the net on the weak side in order to capitalize on those rebounds.
And Fisher wins the faceoff from Roy. And now it's Weber, who had 2 goals last night. Tipped ahead, and now Fisher comes in. And a shot and a save by Elliott. And he was lurching back a bit, but he sat on the puck. And we get a whistle.
Trying to go through the legs. Elliott's very good at giving the 5-hole and taking it away. He just lures the shooter into that area. But what a play by Fisher to Hornquist. And now all of a sudden what looks like it's a 2-on-4 ends up being a 2-on at least 2 and a quick shot. They've been good. Fisher's been good again in this game.
And the chance is dead even in the game. Predators win the faceoff. Josi a drive. Hit traffic on the way through. The Predators have 15 shots and 11 mid shots tonight. And the Blues work it up ice. And now Weber gets it back for his partner Roman Josi.
It's the mirroring philosophy off the faceoff, isn't it? How many times has Nashville won the draw and got it right to the net the same way that the Blues do it?
Now the puck punched ahead by Pietrangelo. Packed that by Nystrom, and that goes deep. And then Pietrangelo gets there ahead of Hornquist. And that pass almost picked off, but it rolls to Bouwmeester. And Bouwmeester for Stewart. Plays it back of the goal and bounced on Hutton. And then it comes on the wall. Steen battles there with Stewart. In the final minute now of the second period. Predators try to clear it away. Jackman trying to step up. And then he rocks Gabriel Bourque. And Tarasenko down low. His pass, now it goes to Shattenkirk. And his feed on the tape of Roy. Roy to center ice. Trying to hit Schwartz. Then he darts behind the defense. That going back defensively with Ellis. And then Ellis, a good play ahead to David Legwand. And Legwand to center for Smith. In for Bourque. And he is taken care of by Shattenkirk. And Derek Roy off the boards and out now for Schwartz. He had the Blues' first goal. Drops it to Roy. And then Schwartz with it. As Roy couldn't pull the trigger. Comes in front. Tarasenko had a bounce on him. And now Clune stepping up. Late in the period to the net. And that's too high to handle for Smith. And the period comes to an end.
And now it's a hockey game. A good close one. And we see that the Blues are 15-3-5 in one-goal games.
Blues outshoot the Predators 8-7 in that period, but the clubs trade goals and pat the Blues lead by 1 after 2. As we get set for the third period here at Sold Out Scottrade, the Blues with a 2-1 lead after 2. John and Darren back in the broadcast booth, and Derek Roy has played really well with Schwartz and Tarasenko. As a matter of fact, all three have points tonight, Darren.
Yeah, they really have, and it's fun talking to a guy like Jaden Schwartz, who's been on a lot of different lines. He's played right wing and left wing. He's seen a lot of centermen, but there's chemistry here because there's great hockey sense. Derek Roy is able to make a play. He's been strong on the puck. He hasn't been bounced off the puck at all. He's certainly not coughing it over. He's been very strong, makes very smart plays, including that pass dot to dot over there to Bouwmeester, who rifles it, and it was able to be tipped in by Backes. That one there was a pretty little play there that just was not able to be capitalized on. That's a great out of the zone, and then moving his skates, getting up the ice, causing a little center lane drive right there. As we take a look at this line combination and the chances that they've had, they've combined for 6 scoring chances in this game.
And the Blues are 24-0-3 when leading after 2. The Predators are 2-22-2 when trailing. As the Blues control the opening faceoff. Here's Backes. On with Steen and Stewart. Walked along by Jackman, now to Backes. Moves in a shot. And that's blocked at the defense by Josi, and it comes to center ice.
That's a pretty sharp way to get out of the zone right off the hop, though. Crisp passing all the way around. And Barrett Jackman fires it right on the tape to Backes in the middle of the ice after Backes started in his own zone.
And now Steen pries it free. Here's Steen in front. Off a stick and wide. Stewart parked right in front. A shot. Oh, what a save there by Hutton. On that close-in attempt by Chris Stewart. And Nystrom down the boards. That's broken up by Shattenkirk. Comes back in the slot area. Intended for Nystrom. And taken care of by Magnus Pääjärvi off the glass and in.
Smart play on a 1-on-2. He doesn't want to turn it over because he knows there's a line change going on. Clanks it off the glass and tries to beat 2 men to it.
And now the Predators to center ice. That's off a stick in to the corner. Pietrangelo back first, but under some heavy pressure from Gabriel Bourque. And chopped along by Pietrangelo. Now for Oshie. And he gets it out. Delzato for Jones. Slings it right back in there. And played by Oshie. Reverses. And then moved along by Pietrangelo. Bertha to center ice. And Schwartz off the boards and in deep. He goes in against the rookie Seth Jones. And now Jones gets it back. Pass by Tarasenko and the Predators to center ice. And then Bourque.
It's a pretty good out of their own zone as well. Both teams have been pretty crisp at that and getting it going down the other way.
And Roman Polak slides it back of the goal. Hutton, now a giveaway. It goes to Roy for Schwartz, a shot. And a stick save by Hutton. Boy, Hutton really handles the puck a lot out of that net. And that might have been his first mistake behind the goal. Here's Cole, now for Roy. 2:15 gone, third period. Blues leading 2-1. Trying to go to 3-0 on the year against the Predators. And the puck at center ice, gobbled up by Shattenkirk on a good read. But then Lapierre can't get it, and Reeves has to go back in his own line. For Jackman, and then to Morrow. And Morrow tips it deep. Puck comes around, Lapierre trying to cut it off. Now Reeves, a big collision back of the goal on Ekholm. And Del Zotto trying to clear it out, kept in by Lapierre. Ekholm smacks it around, cut off by Reeves. In front, Lapierre, a shot. And a stick save by Hutton. And the puck played up the near side now for Colin Wilson. And then Del Zotto joins the party for Nashville. His shot and a glove save by Elliott. And no further play.
Ryan Elliott will take that shot every time. Just a quick wrist shot. No traffic in front.
And behind the net, Alexander Steen does a great job setting up Alec Gretz back there, or Bernie Federko. And then makes a play. I thought he was going to go to his backhand. He decides to go to the forehand because Stewart's there as a right-hand shot. So instead of putting Stewart on his backhand spot, it's a good choice by Steen. And a brilliant pass.
And now Steen on the faceoff. The Blues winning only 40% of the draws after two, but they control this one. And it comes to center ice. Here's Weber to Josi. Oh, Backus a good steal, and now moved along by Stewart, but he was poke checked by Nystrom.
One hand on the stick going through the neutral zone right there.
And the Predators, the front of shot, they score! Fisher caught Elliott leading, and he ties the game at 2.
Sharp angle shot, waiting to see if the goaltender will get off the post. It happens so often. That's what makes these plays so dangerous. Talked about them earlier in the game, funneling them from the sharp angles. And here Elliott's not expecting it, but this really begins in the neutral zone. The Blues had the puck twice in the neutral zone, using one hand on their stick. And because of that, the puck goes the other way. So this goes off the right pad of Elliott inside the skate blade and in the net. He's looking the other way. He's waiting for a pass out front. And instead, Fisher catches them by surprise. Two Ottawa Senator former teammates, Mike Fisher and Brian Elliott. But again, and we'll get back to it, the sloppy play in the neutral zone was a direct result of that goal going in.
But a tough one to give up from the corner. Fisher's 15. And we have got a brand new game now. Berglund to the front by Payarby. Held in by Shattenkirk. Comes around now. Berglund again. And then Berglund stops and starts. Shattenkirk with it. He fakes it. And then a wrist shot off a stick to the corner. And now recovered again by Berglund. And then he is wrapped up, I think, by Leguan. It comes free. Shattenkirk in there. And he is rattled by a hip check by Bork. And Bork trying to clear it. Oshie at the line. He's the last man. And then down low for Payarby. Now for Berglund. Good shift by this Blues Berglund line. Shattenkirk now for Jackman. And a drive. Goes well wide with a screen in front. Now Shattenkirk again a shot. And off a body in front, maybe off Del Zotto. And the puck to center ice. Hornquist gets the lone assist on the goal by Fisher. And the Blues 2-0 lead is history. And Rick Clune gets the puck in deep. And Elliott out to play it, pokes it away from Clune. Now it comes to the line for Ellis. And then down low, a shot off a skate by Gostad, and now recovered by Tarasenko. And he gets the wheels turning. On to center ice to Roy for Pietrangelo. Works in a shot. And a save on the pad by the goaltender Hutton, and we get a whistle.
How precarious is a 2-0 lead, but this is the play through the neutral zone. One hand on the stick, then it looked like maybe Backes had a chance to get that in deep, and instead it goes the other way. And we all know it's not the most dangerous situation, but there is a cause and effect to every goal that goes in. It started originally, Alex Pietrangelo wheeled, tried to make a pass to the hash marks to Chris Stewart. Pass was off the mark, and then it went through the neutral zone. So little plays and ends up in the net.
Now Steen to the front, and he can't get a shot. Defended well there by Josi. And now it's Nystrom after it. He gets there first. And then it's spun around by Bouwmeester. And it's in the skates of Bouwmeester. Fisher gets it free. To the line for Josi. A drive and a save by Elliott. That got through. And now it's Pietrangelo for Backes. Stewart trying to get it out. He gets a piece of it, and the puck to center ice. And then rolled right back in. Bouwmeester to number 27, Pietrangelo. And then Stewart on the backhand dump in. Brendan Morrow runs Jones down from behind. But the Predators get it, and here's Hornquist. Long pass. Bounces on Cole. Wilson the first man in. And now Colin Wilson. Given a rough ride by Morrow. Puck off a stick and now taken by Reeves. And Reeves off the boards and in. Good play by Reeves. And he is chased down to the corner. Now Lapierre trying to get away from Jones. Delzato. And he's hit by Lapierre. The puck taken by Jones again. The puck in center now. And then Beck is tied up. Stick comes up on Morrow. No call. Here come the Predators in. Wilson with it. And Wilson can't dangle around Ian Cole. And then a centering feed is taken care of by Pollock. And then Pollock to his partner Cole. And now on to center ice. Here's Reeves again. Comes free to Cole. And then Pollock trying to skate it in. He does. Covered by Sissons. Pollock trying to get through. Bruiser in the midst of a line change.
Good play by Roman.
And he rags the puck to the corner. It's in the skates of Sissons and Pollock.
Should be a whistle coming up here.
And the referee, Tim Peel, is right there, but he lets the boys play. And now Gostad will just flip it out. 7 minutes gone by in the third period. The Predators have tied the game. And this goes down the ice. Oshie back to get it. And a pass for Shattenkirk. Center ice off the skates of Payarvi. And now Jackman trying to move ahead. And he lost it. Smith gets it to Labois. Labois to the front to Josi. And he scores! Josi. And the Predators with a 3-2 lead.
Same theme, different goal. Skating by pucks in the neutral zone. One hand on the stick, flybys, and your goalie gets hung out to dry. It's a perfect passing play. Josi jumps in from the left side, but again in the neutral zone. Looked like the Blues had pretty good position, and then it ends up being a 3-on-2 going the other way with a forward, TJ Oshie, as the lone man back. And there is our Phantom Cam, and a left-hand shot going to the short side, just 18 inches above the ice. A terrific shot by Roman Josi.
His 8th of the year. The Predators have scored the last 3 and lead 3-2. And now Tarasenko to center ice. He cuts in front, shoots, he scores! That was awesome!
Well, that's the way to get it back. Holy jumping, what a blast this is. He's been knocking on the door all game long. Just having an outstanding game. Outstanding game. 18th goal of the year. A cutback, again with Hornquist on him. Powerful move. Here it go off the bar. With that center lane drive, number 9, Jaden Schwartz drives hard and it backs off Michael Delzato. Goaltender might have a little too much traffic on him, and he just rifles it over the shoulder, under the bar and in.
Number 18, it ties the game 16 seconds after Josi's goal had given the Predators the lead. And now it's Ryan Reeves. He'll tip it in and go after it. Reeves back on the goal with Morrow. Now Reeves centers it. Lapierre can't get a shot. And Josi again, 4 men up the ice for Labois. And it's pass, and that shot goes just wide. And then Josi, hard pass across. And Ekholm keeps it in. At the left point, Josi. Good hold in. He gets the puck down low, grabbed by Pietrangelo. And now the Blues have it, and Pietrangelo trying to skate up the middle. He does.
I'd be thinking that line's going to hop back on the ice pretty soon. They've been really good all game long.
The Predator goal, Josi from lane one, but Tarasenko gets it right back from Pietrangelo at 7:49. And we've got a 3-3 game. Puck kept in, now it's Hornqvist, back of the goal. And he is worked over by Cole. And then Hornqvist has it again. Now Nystrom down low. And in a battle with Polak. And then Backes helps out. Fisher fight for it. Fisher gets it free. Puck in front, a shot just tipped wide by Nystrom. And that was close. And now Nystrom again. It's a strong boy working on Polak in front. Weber shot, block, rebound, and Hornqvist. And it poked away by Elliott. And the Blues are scrambling here. And now Steen will slow the pace.
It all started with some tenacity on the puck, though, by Mike Fisher. Give him a lot of credit. After it looked like David Backes had won the battle, Fisher never gave up.
Now Steen lost it. Backes follows up. Then he twirls back on the goal. Then a shot by Tarasenko. He broke his stick. It comes in front and now played off the glass. And out of the zone. And then Shattenkirk.
Yeah, give him a new twig and keep him out there. Don't go for a change.
And a pass off the stick of Tarasenko. He's got a new twig. Here come the Predators. This game is wide open now. Wilson to the front. And a good block by Shattenkirk, and the Blues on the counter with Schwartz. 9:45 to go, third period. Tied at 3. Predators play it off the glass. And that bounces at the Blues line. And the Blues regrouping with Barrett Jackman. Now Jackman for Roy. And he doesn't waste any time. He'll twist it into the zone. Puck to the corner for Del Zotto. Roy stole it. Now Roy in front. Schwartz never got the pass in time. And now Schwartz giving a rough ride back to the goal by Sissons. Blues get it back. And then a hard pass, too hard for Pietrangelo.
I think Pietrangelo was trying to walk the line, thinking that Roy was going to hold on to it just for a little bit longer.
And the Blues making a change on the fly. It is Oshie, Payarvi, and Berglund. Stolen down low by Oshie. Oshie to the front. And a shot, and that was just off the pad. And now Bouwmeester a drive. Hit something, went to the corner, and then played by the Predators back to center.
It's good stuff now, huh?
It is fun. Maybe not so fun for the coaches.
This is not the game we expected, guys. We expected that 1-1, 2-0, 2-1, and it's got a little more wide open, a little sloppy, guys. I think maybe the fact that both these teams played last night.
Yeah, a little mental fatigue, perhaps. And here come the Predators with Jones. He comes up the middle now for Smith. And a shot. That's wide on the short side and off the boards. Then back to center ice. By the way, Smith gets an assist on that Josi goal. So it's Legwand and Smith with the assists. And this rolls in on Elliott. He'll punch one to center ice from Reeves. Trying to catch the Predators in a change. Reeves drops it. But that's advised. And the Predators away to center ice, and Gostad dumps it in. Now tip to Clune. And his shot high and wide. That going to the corner. Now it's Brendan Morrow. Works on the rookie Sissons. To an open side. Wayne Ellis there. Back of the goal for Sissons. He was wrapped up by Morrow. In front. And Clune a shot. And a save by Elliott. It's in the goal crease and then fired away by Reeves. And down the ice. And it's on goal, so no icing. Well, the goalie touched that, and I can't believe they're going to call icing. That was on goal.
Yeah, the fans here know it, too.
That was...
David Backes is going to have a conversation with the linesman.
I guess they're going to rule that it got to the dots, and that's when they blew it dead.
So get out of your seats and cheer the Blues on.
Yeah, but it's still, if it's on net, you don't blow it dead.
Well, I agree.
Again, the fourth line here, Clune gets a really good scoring chance. And this tandem here on the back end, as we see from our Phantom Cam, how tight this is from Nystrom as he tries to swat at it, going to the stick side. But Polak and Cole have really had a difficult time below the hash marks in this hockey game. It's been a struggle defensively.
7:32 left. It's 3-3. Fisher, a backhander. At the back of the goal. And now it stays in there. Hornquist to the line to Yossi. A drive and a save by Elliott. And now the Blues can get a break.
Good job by Jackman. Good job by Jackman because the Nashville Predator player, I think that was Hornquist, driving hard to the net. And right away, Jackman intercepted him from even getting to the blue paint.
The Predators went ahead by 1, but Tarasenko answered with a laser to tie it at 3. All right, Pat, thank you very much. We've got a wild one here. Not quite 6-3, but 3-3 with 7:20 left. Tarasenko tied the game from Pietrangelo at 7:49.
Someone had to take control for the Blues, and certainly he's a bull in a china shop, isn't he? Wow.
And a shot from the corner. Nystrom, that's turned away and then kept in by Fisher. This line has been dangerous all night.
That puck came off the boards awkwardly there, and Steen wasn't expecting where it hopped. And unfortunately for the Blues, the Predators were able to keep it in there.
Now Weber to his partner Yossi. And the young Swiss defenseman who will play in the Olympics. For Weber at the line. Cut off by Back as he feeds it back, but it gets by Pietrangelo. And Elliott out of the goal. Good read there.
Yeah, really good read. And that gets one forward in deep. See if the Blues can take advantage.
And then lobbed to the corner by Stewart. And then tipped by Seth Jones. He lost it to Backus. What a forecheck there. And now it is Schwartz on the wall for Backus. And the captain out high, strong on the puck. To the corner for Tarasenko, now to Schwartz.
Very few can protect the puck like Backus in that situation.
Here's Tarasenko. Had a man cutting to the front. That was Derek Roy. That was picked off. And now it goes down low, and Simon Moser after it. In his first NHL game, he's pushed down by Schwartz. And now the Blues, Tarasenko pass to the front, almost sprung a player to the net. But the Predators tap it down the ice, and what a hit back down the ice.
Reverse hit by
Tarasenko.
That reverse hit right there on big Colin Wilson. Caught him by surprise.
And now Derek Roy in there, but two Predators surround him. Ekholm with it. And now ahead to Bourque. And he comes down the wall. Payarby gets back quickly. And Magnus Payarby up the boards. Can't get it out. Legwand in front. And a shot off the shoulder of Brian Elliott. That was dangerous.
That's a good save right there. Real good save.
On Smith. And now the puck at the line. Ekholm jabs it high with 5:25 to go in the third period. We have had a ton of chances at both ends in this period. Shattenkirk for Oshie. And that goes down the ice.
Yeah, just tipped by Oshie as he went for a line change.
Now Weber for Yossi. Cut to the middle. Moved on by the Predators to Gaustad, a shot. And that was blocked by Pietrangelo and then centered by Gaustad. And it's in between the legs of Elliott. And you're going to lose some hair up in this booth. It is a nail-biter in a 3-3 game. And down the stretch we go.
Well, our Mazda drive to the net belongs to number 91, Vladdy Tarasenko. Driving hard, ripping that puck over the glove, cutting against the grain, beating his man Hornquist, and just letting this sucker rip. A world-class play by a young world-class player.
And that tied the game at 7:49. Now with 4:59 left. The Blues have won only 39% of the draws tonight. Their worst face-off game of the year, but they win this one as Backus gets it from Fisher, and now tipped along by Oshie.
See how animated Tarasenko was on the bench there? He was talking over to Jaden Schwartz. Constant communication. Full of enthusiasm.
And now the puck grab by Bouwmeester for Stewart. Trying to send Oshie in there. Steen is not on this line at this time. And now it's tipped by Pietrangelo. Not out. A long shot. And that got through traffic and a save by Elliott. And now played around for Bouwmeester. In a race. Glove down by Oshie. Now ahead for Pietrangelo.
Yeah, it looks like Steen's fixing to skate on the bench there right by Bernie.
Yeah, he is. He's putting a new lace in, guys. So he had a lace tossed over by Joel, and he is actually hard at work. He's actually got it almost laced.
And now a giveaway. Weber broke his stick, actually. And Jaden Schwartz around the net. At the line. Rolling puck. Shattenkirk to Pietrangelo. Through a seam. Oh, Tarasenko had it wobble on him. Now Weber gets a stick. Blues keep it moving. Shattenkirk for Tarasenko. Drops it off. Shattenkirk walks in. And a save by Hutton. In the puck of the slot. Blues get it back. Backes. And Shattenkirk play catch. Backes to Shattenkirk again. Winds up. Tarasenko a drive and a save by Hutton. And Tarasenko got everything into that one. It has been a show.
Time now for tonight's Check Replay, brought to you by BMO Harris Bank. And there have been a plethora of big hits in this hockey game. Why wouldn't there be? It's the Nashville Predators and the St. Louis Blues coming at you. Colin Wilson thinks he's got the edge there on Tarasenko. Nope, Tarasenko went the other way. At the end of a brilliant shift in the offensive zone, Tarasenko has the one-timer from the hash marks, stopped by Carter Hutton, who's been good in this game.
And now it is Oshie against Legwand. With 3:37 left, Oshie wins it, and then collected by Berglund. Trying to get away from Legwand. Nice move by Berglund, and his backhander can't get to the front. And now taken by the captain, Shea Weber. Weber stripped at center ice. And then Berglund winds it right back into the corner. Roman Josi there. Two Blues almost getting caught deep, and now the puck fired to center ice. And then moved along by Craig Smith. Elliott out of the goal to tip one. And then moved ahead by Jackman, not out of there. Now Jackman a second try to his partner Shattenkirk. And up the boards now for Oshie. Tripped up, but no call. And Hutton plays it, hooks it back in front. That is a risky play, to say the least.
It's a Sardian like spinorama right there.
And now Del Zotto.
You can't do that close to the net.
Well, he did it. They got away with it. And now it comes around to Wilson. Back of the goal, Tyler Beck. Number 41. Now Beck gets it back from Moser. There's Bouwmeester on Beck. They leave it. Legwand, Wilson in front, a shot by Del Zotto. And that hit the crossbar, I believe, and out of play. Oh, Del Zotto.
They are so good off the cycle, and the defenseman jumping in. A terrific job off the cycle. Nashville has had 7 good scoring chances off the cycle in this game, and they've created a lot of havoc. This is a lucky break as it goes off the skate of the Predator player Moser right over to Michael Del Zotto, the former first-rounder of the New York Rangers, and he fires that right off the crossbar.
2:25 left. Backes wins the face-off from Fisher. And now Barrett Jackman. He'll chip it ahead, and that does come to center ice. And then Josi. He'll blast it right back in. Jackman. And where will he go with it? To the corner for Steen. And the always reliable Alexander Steen to center for Lapierre. And he is tied up at center ice. Weber with it, can't move it. And now sliding the puck down the ice is Lapierre. Blues trying to make a quick change, and Roman Josi comes in. Here's Josi. Stripped to the puck. Fisher drive, and a glove save by Elliott on a hard shot by Fisher.
Yeah, good reaction save there by Elliott off a quick release.
Well, make your appointment now for the Blues and Fox Sports Midwest American Red Cross Blood Drive on Monday at locations across the St. Louis area. Everyone who attempts to donate will receive a limited edition t-shirt while supplies last. Make your appointment by calling 1-800-RED-CROSS or go to redcrossblood.org. And a timeout has been called
by the Blues, John.
With 1:45 to go.
Yeah, Ken Hitchcock wanted to get something going here. I'm sure he's thinking his troops are a little tired here, as we've seen a lot of play in the Blues zone.
Yeah, because there's not much huddling going on right there. More huddling on behalf of Barry Trotz and his group with an offensive zone face-off setup.
And more cuddling on the Blues bench. You're right.
Huddling versus cuddling. Never heard in hockey terms like that, Bernie. Well, David Backes being a right-hand shot in this position, that's a real benefit. Of course, the Blues greatly missing the left-handed Vladdy Sobotka, but good for the Blues that it's on this side of the ice.
Backes 50% on the year. Gaustad, their best, at 58.4.
Yeah, he's always been good going back to his Buffalo days. Look how low he gets for a big guy. But David Backes saying there's some cheating going on down there.
Gaustad gets the stick down first. And now we get set again. And Gostad wins it, but the Blues left here, hops into the hole, and he gets it out. Good read there, and now it's Alexander Steen. He'll fly one in toward the goal, blocked out by Hutton. And then Weber reverses for Josi. And that's up the boards and back to center with 90 seconds left in the third. In a 3-3 game. And then Backes down the wall. Leg one gets it back for Nashville, now for Weber. And then driven in deep by Gostad. And now the Preds go on a line change. The Blues a quick exit. And now to center ice for Stewart. Jams one to the corner. Here is Jones away from Backes. And now reverse for Del Zotto. And off towards the center ice. Final minute here. Roman Polak strong at center ice. That goes in around to Berglund. And then Berglund for Oshie. And he is squeezed off the puck by Del Zotto, but there's Berglund to support it. Berglund for Morrow. Back to Berglund. Polak is wide open. And a drive. Tipped just wide by Morrow. What a chance there on a great read by Polak. And the Predators to center ice. Here comes Fisher. Fisher drops it to Del Zotto. Drive. And that's wide. It's off the that pad of Elliott. And now it's blown dead. I'm not sure if it was necessarily covered by Elliott, but that was close to the goalpost and covered by the left pad.
Yeah, very much so. And that's why Hornqvist is having a conversation there with the referee, Tim Peel.
It came out right back off the post and back in between his legs toward the front of the net.
The play before that really started with a good give and go by Brendan Morrow, and then he really moved his skates and went to an open area instead of kind of staying around. He supported the play nicely, drove right hard to the net, nearly scored off that hard play by Roman Polak.
Now Steen against Legwand with 24.7 left. And they try to get it back to Weber, a shot, and that goes wide. And then David Backes with it at the line, kept in. And Bouwmeester over there. Predators get it to the front, intended for Legwand. That was blocked maybe by Pietrangelo.
Yeah,
and it moves to center. Here comes Schwartz. 5 to go in the third period. In on goal. And covered by the goaltender Hutton with 3.1 seconds left.
Quick developing play there, broken up by Pietrangelo's skate, and then it goes the other way.
Coming off on Missouri Lottery Blues Live. Pat and Darren will break down Tarasenko's big night. A Panger Award will be handed out tonight. And Blues reaction to this one, as it looks like we're going to overtime.
Another fine home for the bobblehead. It's heading out of the building.
The esteemed bobblehead. Predators win the faceoff, and that will do it. This will go to overtime.
Oh, that's the longest 3 seconds.
I was wondering where the horn was, Bernie.
Yeah, the Predators not happy about this. That was a long 3 seconds.
Blues outshot 13-9 in the third. Outscored 2-1.
Well,
but we get 5 minutes here of 4-on-4 hockey, Bernie.
Well, you know what? The whole deal, guys, is that this has been one of those games, I think, that both teams didn't want to give up that extra point once it got to be tied. So you have to give Nashville an awful lot of credit for fighting back from a 2-goal deficit, taking the lead, but you've also got to give the Blues credit, especially Tarasenko, for getting that big goal to tie this at 3. So, I mean, another divisional game, guys, we're not surprised. The Predators are fighting for that last spot. They're only 5 points behind Vancouver right now, so the Blues knew they were going to have their hands full, and consequently they got it. So hopefully the Blues are a much better team 4-on-4, so they certainly should have this advantage in the overtime, guys.
Yeah, it won't be much of a down-low cycle kind of game that Nashville has done so well in, creating 7 scoring chances compared to 3 for the Blues, led by David Backes off the cycle. So in an area that Ken Hitchcock talked about before the game. But Tarasenko has been brilliant with Jaden Schwartz, and certainly give Derek Roy, the veteran 30-year-old centerman, a lot of credit as well. Derek Roy had to buy his time. He was a fourth-line left winger. Then he was on the left wing as well, and he moved up the ladders. Just kept grunting away and found the edge back to his game, and that's what old pros do. One of the reasons why Doug Armstrong brought him on board. You want players that play big when the game's on the line and there's some pressure, and certainly, even though he's a smaller guy, Derek Roy's got some good hockey sense and some tenacity. They've been good.
19,358 on hand tonight. Saw the numbers. The Blues 7-5 in overtime. The Predators 3-8. It'll be Berglund, Oshie, Pietrangelo, and Bullmeister to begin things. Fisher and Nystrom up front for the Predators with Weber and Josi on defense. Weber won the game last night in overtime at 129. He beat the Devils 3-2.
And Michael Ryder, though, just before that had a breakaway and was stopped by Hutton, and the Predators went right back and scored.
Now the Predators give it up and a drive by Oshie. And a blocker save. Puck tipped out of midair by Oshie, but perhaps with a stick too high. That looked to be pretty good from here, but yeah, they'll bring the face-off to center ice. Well, the Fox Sports family home to the Super Bowl tomorrow. The Super Bowl kickoff starts at 9 a.m. on Fox Sports 1, followed by the Fox pregame show at 1 on Fox. Then it's the Broncos and the Seahawks at 5 on Fox and Fox Sports Go. Here the Predators in, and a drive by Smith. That's saved by Elliott. And then Pietrangelo ahead. And then feathered ahead by Schwartz. Now for Bullmeister. In with Steen, and a shot by Bullmeister. That saved Hutton. And then steered back to the goal by David Laguan. Now for Roman Josi. Josi to Smith. And his pass. Good job there by Weber to find it. And then Weber across the ice for David Laguan. And Laguan to move now to the front. Backdoor feed to Smith. And that was too hot to handle. He had him wide open, too. Yes, he was open. Now Smith again. And then steered to the corner by Josi. And Pietrangelo up the boards for Alexander Steen in overtime. Steen waits. And then a drive tipped high. Hit the glass. Comes back for Shattenkirk. And then Shattenkirk shoots one to the corner. Now the Blues make a change on the go.
You could hear him, Shattenkirk, giving the old beaver tap on the ice there, but a lot of times the guys don't want that, Bernie? They don't want him to let the other team know where he's at.
No, that's what you don't want. I agree.
Now Wilson comes in for Nashville. He looks in front. Delzato was covered. Instead it goes down low for Taylor Beck. And then Beck and Jackman in a battle. And then Beck knocked down. Oh, he hooked it in front, but it was off the stick of Wilson. And now the Blues have control. And it's Kevin Shattenkirk. Long floating pass, too far for a diving Tarasenko.
Tarasenko doesn't get a lot of ice time 4-on-4. Good to see him out there. But he and Derek Roy on a quick change right there because that pass just eludes him.
And now 2:45 left in overtime. It's Fisher. Stripped by Oshie. Comes back to Fisher. And he skates it away from TJ Oshie. Now a nice move by Fisher. Got away from Backes. And on his backhand. That goes wide of the goal. Good job by Pietrangelo. And now to the far side. Ellis and Pietrangelo battle for it. It comes free to Oshie. Quickly ahead for Backes. And he'll dump it in. And Hutton out to play it. He got it by Backes. Ekholm can't find it. And then Oshie in there leading the charge. And Ryan Ellis back of the Nashville goal. Now for Fisher. Long pass blocked by Bullmeister. And the Blues have possession with 2 minutes left in overtime. Each club with 2 shots here in OT. Now Steen. Deep slot for Berglund. Berglund a little shake and bake move on Josi. But can't get a shot. Now Berglund back of the goal. For Ian Cole. Here's Cole, a drive up high on Hutton, who makes a good save with his shoulder, and the Predators pound it back down the ice. And then Cole back to get it. Now for Polak. And he can't get in. Steen, though, right there for Berglund. Back to Steen. One man back. Fakes it. Now to the backhand. And all the way around. Steen with it. And it came to center ice. And then Polak will touch it. And that's an offside.
All the way down the ice. Cole had jumped in from the left point to try to create a little diversion, and then by the time Steen came all the way out, there was no other alternative there. So face-off will be to the left of Brian Elliott. And here you see that this is outside the line, and now that he plays it, then it's obviously automatic all the way down the length of the ice.
With 1:18 left in overtime. Big face-off here, Roy and Laguan. Predators get it, a shot, blocked, whereas it's in the corner. Now Laguan back of the goal.
Thought it was at the far side.
And now Delzato. Leg one to the line. Jones, good hold in. Long shot. Off Shattenkirk. Then Delzato to the front. And it's saved by Elliott. And that's loose in the corner.
Good save in tight right there. Tough plays.
And under a minute to go in overtime. Owen Shattenkirk fanned on it. Delzato with it. And a drive blocked by Shattenkirk. What a slidey block there.
Had no choice. Hey, that's cough it up. I better get it back.
And now Barrett Jackman. Long pass. Too hot to handle for Roy. And then Jones drops it back for Delzato. Picks his way into the zone. And forced to the corner by Shattenkirk. And then Jackman takes cover back of the goal. With 25 to go in overtime. Blues are changing. Tarasenko on the ice.
Time for one more rush.
Along with Berglund as the forwards. Now Pietrangelo with 12 to go. And to the line now to Tarasenko. Pitchfork one to the corner for Pietrangelo. And then Berglund there. Out high to Tarasenko. Tarasenko a drive and a block at the buzzer. We will go to a shootout.
The crescendo of anticipation in Scott Trade whenever it gets on the tape of Vladdy Tarasenko is incredible. Good stuff, and what a game for number 91.
And we've got more. A shootout is next.
We take a look at this goaltending comparison here in shootouts. 3 goals against for Carter Hutton, stopping 75% of the pucks that have come his way. Elliott's faced 12, giving up 5. Both have been good in this scrambly type of game. It's kind of a fun game. And Bernie, a little old 1987-88 21-team league kind of game down here.
I agree. I mean, there's nothing wrong with these. I know the coaches probably don't like it that much, but...
we're in the entertainment business, huh, Bernie?
Yes, it is. And the fans loved it. And you know what? Especially this third period was a little more wide open. And you know what? I'm glad, though, that both teams at least get a point because they've worked very hard for it after playing last night, traveling it in late. So this has been a well-fought battle.
Yeah, the only issue from the Blues' point of view is they're such a strong team when leading, and leading 2-0 early in the second period and letting that squirt away from them was tough.
The Blues 5-2 in a shootout. They won their last one on the island on a winner by Shattenkirk. The Blues order will be Oshie, Steen, and Shattenkirk. And for the Predators, Taylor Beck, Ryan Ellis, and Roman Josi. So they will use 2 defensemen. And not the usual suspects.
Yep. Beck's the player that they obviously feel and in practices when they see him that he's got something special. I thought that maybe the Blues would maybe lean towards Tarasenko. He's been red hot in this game. But Shattenkirk has had some success, scored the game-deciding goal as well. And Steen's taking a look at the iPad right there, and it's very common now. Just take a look at a couple of tendencies. You don't want to overload the information, but if there's something you see, a goalie might overcommit. You might be able to freeze him. Maybe he goes down early.
And Oshie 4 for 7 on the year. The Blues elect to shoot first. 3 shooters apiece. Oshie in on Carter Hutton rather deliberately. And he scores right through the legs.
It's absolutely sick how he does that. The calmness that he has, there could be fire going on all around this guy and it wouldn't faze him. He just, hands are soft, supple, and that's why David Boyle, the GM and president of Nashville, who heads up Team USA, there's a lot of reasons why they love TJ Oshie. That is one of them.
And Taylor Beck, 0 for 1 in his career. Oshie made it look easy. And here's Beck, quickly up the middle. And a shot and a save by Elliott.
It's an odd strategy, and I love the way Brian Elliott came out, challenged, and stood his ground. A player comes in that fast and then slows down. Oop, now he's trying to get the goalie to bite, and Brian Elliott stayed patient and didn't move first.
Steen 3 of 5 on the year. Could give the Blues a 2-0 lead in the shootout.
I think he goes forehand, freeze him, and backhand.
And Steen, he comes up the middle. And waits, and a save by Hutton. went across the net and got the pad down in time.
Yeah, a lot of times the left-handers now will take it down the right side, pull it back in, wait, and try to get to the stick. But I think maybe he didn't mishandle it. When he brought it back to the forehand, it was in pretty good shape, but he just got smothered by Hutton.
Yeah, I think he tried to maybe go 5-hole for a second there, and it wasn't there, and then he tried to go high. So good goaltending there.
Yeah.
And now Ryan Ellis, the Preds' second shooter. Here he comes. Ellis in, and he scores. What a move on the backhand, and he ties it at 1 after 2 rounds.
Wow, that's a great move. I mean, this kid comes into the National Hockey League as a winner in the Ontario Hockey League with the Winter Spitfires in the Memorial Cup. This is a Euro forehand, backhand, shake and bake. That's thanks for coming right there. That's just a great move.
And Shattenkirk, 2 for 3, again at the winner on Long Island. He went top corner over the glove.
Yeah, he went in and waited as long as he could and then just fired it under the bar.
And it's Kevin Shattenkirk on Hutton. And a shot and a save by Hutton with the blocker, I believe. And now Josi could win it for Nashville.
Shattenkirk here is looking low stick, and a great read and reaction there by Hutton. And again, not making the first move. I'm sure Hutton's expecting that high glove, but he still dragged that right pad.
And there was room 5-hole there, wasn't there? Ooh.
And Josi, 2 for 2. Tom Stillman is a bit worried here. Here's Josi in, and he waits, and a poke shot.
That's a beauty. A little extension of the stick, because otherwise Josi's got Brian Elliott dead to rights right there. Because your momentum's going one way to Elliott's right, and he came across with just a little poke check and was able to stuff him.
Here's your guy, Baylor.
Tarasenko. He had the game-tying goal. We go to an extra round of the shootout. Vladdy Tarasenko in. Waits. He scores!
Now that's a confident snap of the puck right there. Similar play to what maybe Steen was looking for, but this one was brought out a little bit further, and he's just able, after that little freeze, and then he really gets a lot on that wrister off the bar and in. That's a great shot.
And Mattias Ekholm must score to keep this going.
There's a conversation there in front of Brian Elliott with the 2 referees.
His first ever shootout. All the pressure on Ekholm. Here he comes.
And another good use of the stick by Brian Elliott, who, as you would expect, battles hard in this game. But the story of this one certainly is Vladdy Tarasenko. Just a phenomenal performance by his line, but he finishes it off with the game-deciding goal in the shootout.
And the Blues win their 37th of the year, and for Brian Elliott, he snaps a 3-game losing streak with a 4-3 shootout win.